Hello, good afternoon. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to answer your questions and also to bring a specific topic to you today. And today I want to talk about what forms of immigration relief could be available to Ukrainians. Right now, I don't think there is one person on earth who has not watched the news, who has seen what is happening in Ukraine, that people are fighting for their survival, fighting for their freedom, fighting for their country. And there are also Ukrainians who are here. They may have been here temporarily. They didn't know that this was happening. And now they can't necessarily just hop on a plane and head back to Ukraine. And so what kinds of relief should be available, because it's not available right now. But I want to talk about what forms of relief should be available to Ukrainians in this situation. Now, I also want to remind you that I'm here to answer your immigration questions as well. And your questions can be anything that's immigration related. It does not have to be related to this specific topic. Now, this leads me to talk about what's called temporary protected status. This is a designation that's provided by the Department of Homeland Security for certain countries. So certain citizens of certain countries who are facing instability. The country may be facing instability, conflict. They may be facing damage from natural disasters. In situations like that, where the citizens of those countries can't return to their home country, for example, Haiti with the earthquake in 2010, and then the continuing declining conditions, that has led the United States to designate Haiti as a temporary country, TPS country. So where the citizens can get temporary protected status to remain in the United States for a temporary period of time until the conditions change in that country. They're able to obtain a work permit and they're able to stay here. As a matter of fact, in some countries, so for example, El Salvador and Honduras, they have remained here for over a decade, almost 20 years in some cases. They've been in the United States on temporary protected status because conditions have not changed. And as a result of that, they can continue to have the temporary protected status extended. And so various immigration advocates are now calling for the United States government to do the same here, to go ahead and designate Ukraine a temporary TPS country. That means that Ukrainians would be able to get TPS status for as long as the country is going through this devastating situation. And so it's usually about 18 months, but then when it comes close to the deadline, it then gets extended again and again, and this can go on for years. So advocates are calling for the president to designate this country a country where citizens of that country can get temporary protected status. There's also what's called deferred enforced deferred enforced departure, which is similar to TPS. The only thing with this is that the president can make the announcement that he's designated the citizens of this specific country to get this deferred enforced departure. So we call it DED. And it's similar to TPS. You do get deferred action protection from deportation. You do get the ability to stay here. It can be extended. The only thing is that the president can announce this at any time. He does not need to necessarily seek permission or seek a consultation with any other individual in his cabinet or Congress to be able to designate and any citizens of a certain country for deferred enforced departure. All right, so I'm going to stop to answer questions here. And thanks for the love. I appreciate it. So, can you talk about a person that wants to live with their family in the UK? So, I'm not a United Kingdom's attorney, so I'm not based in England. I'm only a United States immigration attorney. So, US immigration attorney. I don't do anything to do with Europe or the United Kingdom. No visas there. I'm not attorney. You'll have to find an attorney that can help you there. Now, let me continue. So I talked about various forms of relief that that Ukrainians right now, they're going through this situation. They should be given this form of relief. But this is a form of relief that individuals should be able to get if they are, as long as their country has been designated a TPS country. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the countries that are currently TPS countries. So right now, TPS countries, so if you're a citizen of one of these countries, TPS may be an option. However, keep in mind that you have only a specific amount of time to apply for this, and there are very limited exceptions to that rule that you have to apply within this time. And you also have to show continuous residence in the United States. So you can't, if you leave the United States and come back for the purpose of trying to apply for TPS, that's not going to work. At the time that they do designate your country a TPS country, you need to be in the United States, and you need to be maintaining residence here, or you need to be containing presence in the United States for the time from they designate that date. And each country designation is going to come with a different date. So it's going to depend. But right now we have Burma, El Salvador, Haiti, Honduras, Nepal, Nicaragua, Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. Those are the countries that currently have TPS designation, and now they are calling for Ukraine to also get that designation. So any citizens that are currently here who are meant to be here temporarily, of course, can then get this form of relief so they can stay here. Now, here are some other forms of relief that they may need to consider if they're here, and of course they cannot leave. That's going to be asylum. The next is, would asylum work here? And it's going to come down to certain circumstances in that individual situation. So first of all, with asylum, it's not necessarily, you can get asylum just based on the fact that there is a war in your country. There must be some persecution or fear of persecution based on your particular membership in a social group. So for example, in the situation with war, usually there are groups of individuals that are persecuted, and they may be persecuted on the basis of their political affiliation. They may be persecuted based on their sexual orientation. They may be persecuted based on their religion. And so you have to show that you are being persecuted, you're being attacked, you're being killed, or people within your same group are being attacked, being killed, being targeted, being harmed in some way, being arrested, being targeted, harmed in some way as a result of you being the member of that particular group. So determining whether asylum could work in a particular case is going to come down to definitely evaluating the facts involved. But where there is conflict, where there is warfare, where there is political strife in a country, you can definitely find this type of persecution. And so that is another option. If they don't designate Ukraine a TPS country, If the president does not announce deferred enforced departure, which is also like TPS, then the next would be, could possibly be asylum as an option to pursue relief here in the United States, immigration relief here in the United States. Hi there, Amanda. It's nice to see you. All right, so that's all I have today. You can, if you don't have any questions, now is the time to put your questions in the comments if you have questions. I'm U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I help clients to get their status and their residence in the United States. I also come here every day, so this will not be your last opportunity. I come here on here around 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday to Friday, to answer your immigration questions, also to give you relevant topics. And I did bring a relevant topic to you today. And it's based on the war that's happening in Ukraine, some of the forms of immigration relief that could be available to Ukrainians. But this can also be helpful to you, even if you are not directly affected by the Ukraine war, but you do have a situation where you need to get TPS if you are the citizen of a TPS country, such as Haiti. But keep in mind that there are deadlines, there are dates that where you have to apply by those dates in order to get TPS, and there are a few exceptions to that. And also, if you have to apply for asylum based on the conflicts, based on the dangers that you face in your own country, this is something that we could evaluate in a consultation. So I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions that I see here. Okay, so my husband's supposed to get to receive the 10 years from last year, but didn't receive it. They said they mailed it out, but didn't get it. So you'll need to contact the immigration service. Unfortunately, in this case, I'm not your attorney. I haven't reviewed your case, and I wouldn't know where to start. But what you could do is you need to call the immigration service and sort through whether they have on their end that it was delivered. You have to make sure they have the right address. You have to make sure that if you did any changes of addresses along the way, that they did receive it. So you'll have to go ahead and contact them directly. You can go to uscis.gov, and when you go there, you'll see various ways to get in touch with them to make that inquiry. All right, so that is going to be it for me today. I will be back tomorrow at around 4 p.m. Eastern Time, where I will take your questions, and then I will also bring a relevant topic for us to discuss. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.